Hey y'all, it's not time to start just quite yet, but I like to have it at least set up so it gives people an opportunity to join in before the interview actually begins. So it won't actually begin until 4:30, but I'm just setting it up early, okay? So, yes. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. And I'm super excited about the video or the interview today. I've been waiting to get started, and right now I'm trying to start a watch party on the computer. Oops, here it is. So, I'll just have it open until we actually get started. So I can get that out of the way. Um, so in the meantime, for whoever pops in until the actual interview begins, I can tell you guys a little bit about what's going on with the book club. First, one second. Okay, so first, I've done a few interviews over the past couple weeks, and I have another one scheduled this week as well. Is it? No, next week. I have another one scheduled for next week, and I'll probably have another one in there somewhere in between because I'm reading this book, Love and Law, by Asia Monique, who's also from Michigan, and it's like so good. And I know I'm going to be finished with it in the next day or two, and I wanted to wait to interview her until I was actually able to read her book. So we held off on scheduling the interview because of that. So I'm super excited about that. So look forward to more interviews, more lives, more interaction, because unfortunately COVID has hindered a lot of the things that I had planned. So we have to adjust to what the new normal is. And the new normal is to interact with you guys virtually. So, in the next coming days, I'll have the actual flyer released for the poetry slam I'm going to host. And it is called Cocktails and Conversations. And I'm so excited about it. I've been thinking about doing a poetry slam for probably about 6 months now. and I finally decided to let go of fear and push forward with it. So I'm really excited about it. I'm getting some sponsors for the event, some of my small business owners. I'm excited about that. And I just can't wait to put it together. We're going to have drink ideas for both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, because everyone doesn't drink. But we want everyone to get dressed and, just feel like you're actually going out and interacting and vibing together. And what better way to do it than through spoken word? So I'm really excited about this adventure, and hopefully, if all goes well, we'll host one once a month, or maybe every other month. I don't know, but I just think that with everything that's going on, people need a way to still unwind, and I hope I'm able to provide that for you guys. So I'm really excited about that. I have some new merch ideas that I'm coming up with. I don't know. Of course, I have the earrings. That these are the 3-inch disc, and then I have the 2-inch disc. But I'm going to venture off into a few more jewelry items, some cups, shirts, t-shirts, bags, pins, actual book journal for the books that we read, and specific to the book club, because when I do my review, I don't necessarily tell you exactly what happened in the book, because I want you to read it, of course. But what I do tell you is what actually spoke to my soul. So as you're going through and reading, you'll have the opportunity to list out different ideas that spoke to your soul, as well as your favorite book quotes, and just being able to track what you read, how you read it, or if you want to organize it, as one of your favorite reads, so that you can remember and not forget. If you like to write things down outside of using technology, I know technology is the thing for some. I'm using it more than I have in the past, but I still like to write things down. Like, I have an actual planner that my husband got for me. So I have an actual planner, and I have an actual journal as well, and it's a lot journal. I like that part. So I like to write things down, and I think other people do too. And so I'm gonna have some of those things coming up, some different types of materials I'm attempting to work with, and I'm just really excited for 2021. I know 2020 has been interesting. It hasn't been a happy year for many people, and I just want to be able to remain thankful for still being here. Remain thankful for being able to communicate with you guys and still share my love of books with you, because a lot of people won't be coming with us into 2021, and the year still isn't over yet, and COVID, is just a ruthless disease that is attacking everyone, no matter your age, no matter your race, no matter what country you live in. Everyone's being affected. So I'm trying to find ways to remain thankful, and I hope that you guys are too. I don't know what kind of year 2020 was for you, but it certainly was a year of vision for me, and I'm happy to see what 2021 has in store, not only for myself, but for you all too. I'm happy that life did slow down a little bit, because I probably wouldn't be doing some of the things I'm doing now if the world was still at its same place. So while I wouldn't wish anyone to go through the devastating and deadly effects of COVID-19, I do appreciate the world slowing down a little bit and being able to spend more time with my core family, and being able to push my small business ideas even further and take leaps that I may not have taken if the world was still moving as quickly as it tends to. So it's a blessing to be here, and I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but if you follow me, you know I'm a talker, so you should be used to this by now. So yeah, I'm pretty much just waiting for Brandon to join us, and we have just a few more minutes before it's actually 4:30. And if you have any trouble hearing us throughout the interview, please let us know. Put a comment down there so that we can adjust our volumes, because a lot of times, because of the delay, traveling through the wavelengths and whatnot, there's sometimes some feedback, and I want to keep the feedback as low as possible. So if we need to make some adjustments, please let us know, and we can move on from there. I think we're getting better. But technology does what it wants to do, and when you want it to do something, sometimes it says, yeah, no, I'm not doing that today. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much all I have going on right now. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out what the reads are for this month, again, it's Love and Law by Aja Monique. The Goldfinch, what's the name on that one? I can't think of the name of it. 1 second. Who the author is. Let me just go to my Goodreads, and I can tell you who the author is. By Donna Tartt. Yes, by Donna Tartt. Then I'm doing the meditation journal that is coupled with the podcast by Faith Hunter, Shades of the Soul. And I haven't started it yet. However, I did receive it in the mail, but I'm partnering up with another friend of mine, and she hasn't gotten hers yet, so I wanted to wait and start it with her. It's supposed to be a 63-day experience, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's a little different than what I traditionally do for my personal growth read, but let's try new things. And for our story, I selected Transcendent Kingdom by Gayasi, I believe it is. I may have pronounced it incorrectly, but I promise you I will get it correctly if it is incorrect. And I'm super excited about that, because last year when I followed this other page and they were saying, pick a word that begins with the letter of your first name that is going to represent your 2020. And of course my name begins with a T, and I chose Transcendence. And so I wanted to close out my year with reading a book with that in the title, Transcendent. So that's how I went ahead and picked Transcendent Kingdom, because I have several books on my bookshelf that I own that I haven't read yet, but I promise I'm going to get to them. Charlie may not understand it, but I'm going to read them. And so if you haven't had an opportunity to check out any of those books, please do so. I know Aja Monique's book is available on Amazon. And I purchased my Transcendent Kingdom from Source Booksellers. They're my favorite book selling shop to go to. They're independent and Black owned, and they are located in Midtown on Cass. So I believe it's 4240 Cass. So check them out. I love them. They're wonderful. They are still operating. During COVID, they've opened up an online platform for you to be able to purchase books that way, since in-store browsing isn't going on, and you can either have your book shipped to your home, or you can come and pick them up at the door pickup. So you can do that as well. I don't know what bookstores you like to support, but I try my best to support independent booksellers, and my bookseller of choice is Source Booksellers. So hopefully we'll get going soon. It is just about time. We have 4 minutes, and I'm really excited. So I'm going to post this in this other group that my hubby had set up for me. And yeah, so just waiting on Brandon to get here. I'm super excited, and let's see here. So I'm super excited, and I cannot wait for Brandon to arrive. And I'm sure he'll be here soon. I was just speaking with him. And again, if you aren't familiar, today we are going to be speaking with Brandon Robinson. He's an emerging poetry author. This is his debut release, and it is set to be out soon. All right, welcome.
Welcome. How you doing?
How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I love to support emerging, soon to be known, or what I like to call featuring the unknown, because who
Yeah,
knows, you just might be, that national bestseller one day. And I want to say, hey, I was there from the beginning.
yeah. She said, "Hey, I was the first person to host them."
Yes, yes. So I'm super excited. So why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us why we're here today?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm Brandon Robinson. I'm an author. So my book, "When Words Won't Form," my pen speaks. Subtitle: Using the Power of the Pen to Tear Down Emotional Walls. That's due out in January. So I'm a first-time author. It's a poetry book. The poetry in that book is around emotional healing, um, learning how to see ourselves through the lenses we should see. So I'm really here just to really talk about that and whatever else you'd like to discuss around poetry. I'm all game.
Awesome. So how did you even come up with the concept of creating poetry centered around emotional healing?
You know, that's a good question. So really, for me, writing poetry it started off being more therapeutic for myself. And then it blossomed into a gift, right? So then it blossomed into a gift. Then I started writing things on topics, other inspiration, things that I thought would really help, other people, and I really wanted. So Charlie, your husband, Charlie knows me really well, and if people who know me, I love to help people. So in any way I can help them, in a lot of ways, I saw that I can help people through writing, through words. This is
Okay.
a form of art, so you can really speak to people, through poetry and through words. So I wanted to use my words to be able to help people just as much as I did with my actions to the people who I know.
Absolutely. I love that, especially since it's coming from such a genuine place. Now, did you find when writing the poetry that it came easier for you to do it this way, since seeing that it's a way to emotionally heal and maybe the words didn't come out how you needed them to? Did it come out better on paper?
Yeah, it came out. Yeah, honestly, they really flowed on paper. For me, it was so much easier to write out. What I was thinking, what I was feeling, and I think a lot of people have like that same kind of mindset, right? So that's why people journal, or do other things. Some people use it through lyrics, through music, but they journal, they write out how they feel. Some people write poetry, um, because it's easier to express, right? Because you don't have to worry about the perceptions, judgment, or et cetera, of other people's or your own judgment, right? You just write out how you feel, like it does the free.
Absolutely. And um, going through the emotional healing process of it, did you yourself seek any professional assistance in doing this, or you were able to just, accomplish this on your own through your own therapy? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I know I didn't get any professional help. I really like to say to me and God went in the wilderness, he gave me a pen and paper and we connected. I was able to, work through things, learn emotions, learn, really discover and learn myself, learn how grief affected me and just learn how grief affected other people. just a myriad of the different kinds of emotions, just really learning how to process them, how to feel, and really starting to understand. People will call that self-awareness, but really for me, it was bigger. I got it for myself, but also got it for other people. And so that's what I wanted to do is use this as a tool to also help other people so that they can have that same experience, so they can learn how to write out their feelings, write out things, and because you're going to go through things and you're gonna feel a lot of different things in life. And so
Yes,
learning how to understand that can help you make good decisions.
absolutely. Now, how many poems are in this particular book?
Yeah, I think so. It's either 64 or 65.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's a lot.
yeah, it's broken down into 6 chapters. Yeah, so um, each chapter is broken down with the theme. So the theme is really for the chapters is really taken from the second part of the book, the walls down, emotional walls down.
Mhm.
So I don't remember all of the names off the top of my head, only
For
because
sure.
as an author, you're doing a lot trying to do this. But I
Yes.
do know the first one is how I view myself walls down. Like that chapter one, I got a fear walls down, trust walls, relationship, life's challenging moment. Oh, I do actually know 'em. And social justice, like social justice walls down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And all of those topics are something that you can at least relate to at least one of them, if not all of them.
Yeah.
And that's important when you're sharing with people and getting perspectives, because that's why I read. I love having different perspectives. And
Mhm.
if I only look at life the way that I view it, I'll never truly understand others. And you need to learn how to use the power of being an empath and how
Yeah.
that can, make the world a better place. And I know it sounds simple, but all you
Mhm.
really need is love.
Yeah.
And once you start sharing feelings and different perspectives, then you can break down those barriers that exist.
Yeah.
So it's truly important to share stories like that, and especially the personal ones, because that's what's realistic,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think that transparency, there's power in vulnerability. There's power in transparency. We live in a time where, on social media, just you can say in life in general, but you have social media, like we post our wins on social media, right? Like it's our highlight reel. Like we want the good things in our life. We want to share with other people because we're excited about it. People don't always post the process. The process to becoming, the success that you are telling people about isn't always a pretty process. And going through that process, there's a story there. That story, when told properly, can actually bring hope to people, inspiration. It can bring comfort. It can do so. It liberates people, right? Because now it shows them that even though I'm feeling this particular way, like depend because people face a lot of stuff, right? So
Yes.
you name the thing, whatever it is that mentally that they're thinking or dealing with, there's strength in knowing that, hey, I'm not alone. I'm not weird or strange because other people are experiencing this thing too. I don't have to isolate myself. And then the flip side is seeing somebody who's transparent and say, I struggled through it but made it through, lets you know that you're okay. And that in itself is a level of comfort that we all need at times.
Absolutely, so that you don't feel like you're alone.
Yeah,
um, Especially when typically on the social media outlets, the highlights,
yeah.
those that's what you see. And one of the
Mhm.
things that I make a special effort to do, because I have 4 different reading lists with the book club, but one for personal growth and my mental health and the
Mhm.
betterment of myself is imperative because of the condition that I'm diagnosed with.
Mhm.
And through going to the doctor and understanding what I needed to do to actually heal, it requires me to take these steps. So I read, I journal, I meditate, I use prayer. I do all of these things collectively to be a better Tracy, to be the best version of myself. And a
Mhm.
lot of times people can't figure out what it is that helped them get there. For
Yeah,
you, it looks like it's your poetry.
right, right. That's one of the big major ones I think that helped me like, really I mean get to it helped me do a lot of discovery and self-reflection which we all need to do, right? Like it's very
Yes.
important for us to look inward. And when you're looking inward, it's not always about looking for negative things. It's about looking for the good within yourself. Seeing the beauty within yourself, seeing the purpose within yourself, seeing the awesome wonder that God made you to be within yourself. Like we need to discover and look just as hard for those things as we do for because usually when you hear self improvement, people are usually pointing out flaws that they want to fix. But sometimes self improvement isn't pointing out flaws; it's embracing your unique and your awesomeness. To a degree that you haven't yet. That's improvement.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Now, at what point did you decide I want to share this with the world?
Oh man. After much, after much, after many people told me I should, so I started off sharing with small groups, and people were like, "Oh, you should have a book," and I was like, "I'm not gonna do a book. I'm just gonna, post it and let them read it." Um, but I heard it so much, and I heard so much good feedback, and I had such great joy that I thought about it a few years ago, and I finally acted on it this year.
Okay, well, congrats that you went ahead and took that step to
Mhm.
not only share it with a small audience, but now your audience can be, worldwide
Yeah,
and reach everyone.
yeah.
Even if you just touched one person, that's enough. At least that's my my thought on it.
I want to touch more than one person though. Make
I'm
sure y'all buy the
sure.
book.
Okay. So,
I
Brenda,
want
please
one
tell
person.
us. You said it's being released in January. What can
Yep.
we do now?
Yeah, so you can actually pre-order the book. Um, the website is it's a little longer. It's a story to it. I'm gonna spare y'all the details. But it's my title. It's the first part of my title. It's When Words Won't Form, My Pen Speak, not the S, just speak.com. You can go there and you can pre-order it. I'd be happy to give you a link for, or a flyer for people who'd actually like to go and do that. But yeah, they can pre-order it. They can pre-order it today.
Okay. And what's the cost of the book?
It's 19.99.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you see yourself expanding and having another poetry book, or are you going to visit other genres? What's in store for you?
That's an interesting question. I had a friend who did bring up a concept. I'm not gonna say that friend's name. Um, but that friend told me that I should think about exploring into other challenging moments that we face in life. So I'm thinking about that. I'll definitely do more poetry. I mean, poetry just comes out of me like 24/7. So I'm going to do other poetry books. I'm really going to push this one. Um, on top of me doing this book, I'll also be selling journals and pens to go along with it because I want people to have all the tools they need to really be able to participate in that process. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
That
the
sounds
journals are
wonderful.
coming though. Yeah, I'll have some nice photos of them so they can look nice. I got to get those
Okay.
ordered, but they should be ready in January.
Awesome, awesome. Now, can you tell me like your earliest memory of when poetry became important to your life?
Like when it became important.
Yeah, like your
2013.
like
Yeah, 2013. The earliest
2013.
memory, the
Okay.
earliest memory I have is like in 2000 or 2001. Like me just playing around writing on some paper, and I'm like, oh, I can actually rhyme. Like, I was just kind of playing around. I'm like, oh, I can do something with this. But I didn't write after that. But 2013 is when I honestly don't even know what made me grab a pen and write, but I just did. And it
Okay.
started to rhyme. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this works, this works. And then I started to put out my feelings to it. And so that was 2013. And I started to do it more and more. But then I started to like share a couple with really close friends. And they were like, oh, this is really good. And I'm like, nah, y'all gassing me up, right? Like that's what friends
Right.
do. But the more I shared it with people, the more, positive feedback. So that's really my earliest memory of when I really launched into like writing in 2013.
Awesome, awesome. Now, you mentioned that you would share it prior to it becoming a book. Like, what type of platform did you do that on? Was this just your personal page? Did you have a
E-
group, or was it?
Yeah, so I would do email, I would do Facebook messages. I did have a like a page dedicated to it, but if I was sharing it to people, I would just send them poems directly, right? It's like if somebody's like, man, I'm really feeling discouraged. Like, all right, well, here's this poem on discouragement. Or, I got this new opportunity. I'm afraid. Or here's this poem I wrote on the fear of the unknown or fear in the new. So I would do stuff like that.
Okay, so you would basically like take a personal interest in whatever somebody confided in you and use that
Yeah,
as a segue to help.
yeah, basically.
Dope. That's really dope. Now, do you have a favorite poet that you like to follow?
I'm gonna be honest. No, I don't even. I don't read other people's poetry. I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie to you over here. Like, oh yeah, I like. I'll tell you one poem I think that really, really got me. And that was in the movie. You remember the movie Keeler the Bee?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one about, who am I not to be, beautiful and brilliant. That one, like the one he
Hmm.
made her read,
Hmm.
like, he was like, who are you afraid of? Like, that poem, that is,
Okay.
that was, I think that's one of the ones that if I could say outside I read, that resonated and really had a good impact.
Okay. Okay. Now, seeing that you said you don't have necessarily a favorite poet, I always because I'm a reader, I'm a nerd. It's fine. Do you at least have a favorite book of all time?
The Bible,
Okay.
yeah, that's my
Okay.
favorite book.
Well,
When I
I
read
would
it,
say I would ask you what's supposed to your soul after reading it, but I mean, there's so much. That answer probably could go on for days.
yeah, I don't know if you want that conversation. Not that you'll
Right,
read it
right,
off,
right.
on me, though, but yeah.
Okay, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Now, what do you see yourself taking from putting this work of art into the atmosphere, and what is your ultimate goal to accomplish?
Start a movement. I want to start a movement where people are healing, where people are really really facing difficult emotional issues that they're suppressed and buried. But more importantly, I want people to embrace themselves. I want them to love themselves. I want them to see themselves for who they really are. Like I want them to see their gifts and their talents. Their talents. I want them to embrace them. I want them to feel good about them. I want them to feel good about themselves. I want them to know that God is not who they thought he was. He's there to walk them through it. He's not what people position to us. The Charleston Heston one from the Moses movie back in the day when he's like ready to throw the tablets down and like beat people. Like that's not who he is. And so I really want people to see, God is really there emotionally to help you through it, and also you can embrace. But it ultimately lies on you. Like every choice, all of that. Like none of that works without us. Like we're the key.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you already gave us your website of for the pre-order. How else can we stay up to date with what's going on with you?
Yeah, so there are a few ways you can stay up to date with me. You can follow me on Instagram. IG is at the Pins Power. That's one way you could do it. I'm Pins Power on Twitter or at the Pins Power, or if you want to, follow the website. I usually post frequently on Instagram though, a few times throughout the week. I also drop poems there on Instagram that I don't like have in the book too. So I'm usually putting out, new poems, a few times throughout the week.
Awesome, awesome. I'm super excited for your journey that you're on. I look forward to what's going to happen with that. And is there anything else that you want to share with us? Tell us.
Yeah, I just would like to say, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for the great conversation to the listeners. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy evening to just spend a little time talking about poetry and talking about emotional, embracing ourselves. And, hopefully, if you get the book, let me know. Like I like to hear people's, responses. I mean, like any artist, you want to hear the response of your art. When you express something, you want to see the impact that it's had on people, positive, or if people say, "Well, I didn't really like this one." That's constructive too. But I want to hear. I love to hear back from people.
Well, that's something that I definitely do. I love to write book reviews, and I do mine a little differently. I don't necessarily go into detail as what is fully in the story or in the book
Yeah,
because I want you to read it for yourself.
Okay.
But what I do say is what speaks to my soul. Because a lot of times we get so caught up in saying, well, I didn't like this or this wasn't good,
Right.
versus just saying what actually reached you. I want to know
Right.
what impacted me and what made me feel a way, good, bad, or indifferent. And that's what I like to share. So I definitely will leave a review and make sure that you know, because the reviews count, they help. That's how you
They do.
get the people interested in it, you know.
Right.
Those are a requirement in my opinion,
No,
you
no,
know.
you're right. Yeah, they do.
So,
Please
but
leave a review. Yeah.
I did want to ask you, while you went through the whole process of, you know, bringing the book or the poems into a full book, was any part hard for you?
I don't think anything was hard. I think it's just all new. You
Mhm.
know, if you're a first-time author, this whole process is new. So, one of the things I can say is I work with a great company. The owner is Sean Blanchard. He's a black man from Detroit. He's got a whole team that was amazing, right? I think it's Moguls. Moguls is what it is, but an amazing team, right? Like, so when you see the artistry on the cover, like his
Oh
team
yeah,
did that. Yeah, so having a team and having someone who you can bounce ideas off of, and also just having a group of people, your circle is very important because to me, they have helped steer me in the right direction, give me feedback, give me perspective, that I hadn't seen. And, all these collectively, it takes all of that in order to build a successful, book, product, or whatever you're doing. So you need good
absolutely,
people in your life. And that's what's helped me.
absolutely. And speaking of your cover, it's absolutely amazing. I shared it in another group, and that was the first thing they said, like, "Oh my goodness, I love this cover." I think it's absolutely beautiful. They whoever created it, they did their job in that,
Yeah,
because it's
they
eye
did.
catching, and I honestly can't wait to read it. Of late, poetry has really been my thing, and so I'm looking forward to adding it. You know, to my reading list and seeing how it affects me and what speaks to my soul after reading it.
That's great. And I can't wait to hear back from you after you read it.
All right, cool. Well, Brandon, I do appreciate you taking the opportunity to sit down and speak with us and let us know what's coming up with your book. I cannot wait to read it. I'm going to definitely get my pre-order in, and I look forward to see what else you have for us, especially seeing that you're looking to create a movement. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Thank you.
All right, to all of my viewers, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a special edition and author interview with Brandon Robinson. We are anxiously waiting for the release of his poetry book. When words won't form, my pen speaks. I definitely hope you guys will check it out. Stay up to date with him, and as always, happy reading, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.